So this is the blank template, and I'm going to go through the process of working on this blank template and pulling in Google Form quiz, and then going through all of the steps that I talked about in the previous parts of the video. So if you're ready to go, let's go. Now, I want to point out that there are two tabs. There's the master check-in page, but then there's also this thing called a lookup table. This lookup table holds a couple of things in it. Over on the far left side, there's some color coding. This is called conditional formatting, and you can use this conditional formatting. It's more of an optional thing, but you can use it if you want. The one on the left is if you ask a class period question, this will color code responses by class code or by grade level. So there's a quick visual of what grade, or not grade level, what class period they're in. The second column is a conditional formatting to color code if somebody's missing an assignment, has a 0. Zeros are for if it's just a check-in. So a 1 means you did it, a 0 means you didn't. Additional things, these formulas here are the different formulas that are used. Some of them look kind of challenging, but you don't have to do these formulas yourself. They're here so that you can copy and paste them. So I will show you when to use each formula, and then all you do is you click on it, you copy it, and you paste it, and there are a couple of things that you need to change. And then the last thing is this is the percent and the grade that goes with the percent. Now, if you do grades in some other manner, like even if you do a 4, 3, 2, 1, and so you want to figure out what percentages would get a 4 and what percentages get a 3 and so on and so forth, you could come here and change these grades to whatever you want. So you figure out, let's say 85 and above is 4. You would put 4 all the way down to 85 and then start a 3. But the percentages need to stay the same, because when you take a quiz on a Google form, it gives you a percentage out of how many there are. So if there's 7 questions and you got 5 out of 7, you would get a percentage rounded to 2 decimal places. So that needs to stay the same, but you can modify these grades to fit with what you do and what you need. Now, in order for any of this to work, you need a Google form. So I have created a Google form. This particular one is a quiz that is graded. You'll notice that it's been turned into a quiz. You can tell that because it's got total points right here, and it says out of 4. If you don't know how to create quizzes, I'm not going to go into that here, but how you would do it is you go into the settings menu up here, and there's a quizzes tab, and you can turn things into a quiz. And basically with a quiz, what happens then is for your multiple choice or other types of questions, you identify what the correct answer is, and then if the student gets it correct, they get a point, and if they don't get it correct, they don't get a point. So this particular one has the basic information, student ID number. This is the one that is important for the form. The student ID number is the way that the formulas figure out which student is which when you're moving from one tab to another. So it's important to ask for the student ID. And then anything else is not necessary, but you can do it. First name, last name, which period you are in, so on and so forth, and all of those things. Okay, so once my quiz is ready, what I can do is I can click over on responses, and this one has already been done, but I want to go through the process anyway. Once you have some responses, you can view those responses in a spreadsheet, or you can choose for those responses to go to a specific location. So that's what I'm going to do. So to do that, you up at the top click on responses, and then there are these 3 dots, and you click on the 3 dots, and you want to select the response destination, which is the second option. So I do that, and then I select an existing spreadsheet, and then I hit select, and then I choose the right spreadsheet from this list. So I find the one that I'm going to do. This one's already connected, so I'm not actually going to do the connection, but that's what you would do. So I want it to go to daily check-in template, so that's what I would click on, and then I would hit select, and then it would pull that into the spreadsheet as a new tab. Once you do that, then when you go to your daily check-in, you will see a new tab that has your form submissions on it. Now, one thing I would suggest is changing the name of this. So I'm going to rename this, and today is April 29th. So I will name this April 29. And now it has a name, and I'm going to use that name to go through things. Now, on this spreadsheet, I've already done it. So I'm actually going to delete this just to show you the whole thing. So this is what the spreadsheet would look originally when it comes in. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to column C, and I'm going to right click and choose to insert a column at the right. I'm going to insert that column, and then I'm going to call that grade. And you don't have to call it grade. You can call it whatever you want. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine the grade based on the scores over here. So I'm going to go to the lookup table over here, and then I'm going to take this first one, and if you read the instructions, it says column D formula. You need to put an equal sign in front and change the 15 to look for the points possible for the assignment. So I'm going to click on this and do Control C. Then I'm going to go over to my April 29th tab and hit Control V. I'm going to go to the front and I'm going to put an equal sign. And then this is out of 4 points. So where it says 15 here, I'm going to put 4, and then I'm going to hit Enter. And what it does is it identifies a grade based on the score that I got. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it down to cover all of my responses. Now, as new responses are added, you're going to need to continue to do this dragging down thing. You can't drag down before the responses are there, so you need to drag down after all the responses are in, or you can come back and drag it down multiple times throughout the course of a day or a week. The one other thing that I did to this spreadsheet, and it's already been done, was color coding these. And this is something that if you want it to be color coded so that you know what class period, this is the class period color coding. I already did it for this one, but let me show you the process. To do the conditional formatting, I'm going to come to my lookup table, and the first column here is conditional formatting for class period. So if you want to color code by class period just to help you out and keep organized, you can do that. What you do is you click on the entire A column. So you click on the A, and then it should highlight the entire column. Then you copy it by doing Control C, and then you're going to go to the spreadsheet that you're working on right now with your Google Forms. So mine is my April 29th tab, and I am going to then find my class period column, and which is H, and I'm going to click on that. And I am going to right click on that, and then when I right click, one of my options is paste special, so I'm going to do paste special and then choose paste conditional formatting only. And then what that'll do is it'll paste the conditional formatting that I had in that lookup table for this row, or for this column. So this column then will color code based on class period. Okay, so now this particular spreadsheet is done. I've got my periods all color-coded. I've got my grade set up. As more students respond, I will need to click, and I can always click on the bottom one that's done and just drag it down. But again, you can't do it before your students have answered. You also can't put the equation in until your first student has responded. So you have to wait until that first student has responded before you can copy and paste that VLOOKUP from the lookup table. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my master check-in, and I'm going to go through the process of doing that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. This is Thursday. It's not Thursday, it's Wednesday, April 29th. So I'm going to change this to 4/29. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull for each student their grade, and so I can see the grades by student on this particular page. And then as I go, each time I add a new column, so after I do a couple of days and I want to add a column, I just go to column D and I right click and I insert one to the right, and I can get additional columns and then continue doing the same thing on a daily basis. Also, if you want the newest one first instead of last, you could, like if I want, so I do one on Wednesday, and then on Thursday I want one, but I want my newest ones to be in the front. I can right click on C here, and then I can insert one on the left, and it'll always put one in front of the current day's thing. So now, in order to fill this out, I'm going to go back to my lookup table. And these middle two formulas in the lookup table are the ones that I want. One of them is for a graded assignment. The other one is for a non-graded assignment. And the non-graded assignment just identifies whether a student did it or not and gives them a 1 if they did it and a 0 if they didn't do it. This one is a graded assignment, so I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to do Control-C, and then I'm going to go to the master check-in, and I'm going to do Control-V in the first row. Now, the instruction said that I have to put an equal sign in front. You always have to put an equal sign in front when you're doing formulas. And then what I want to go through is I want to change all of the times that it says April 4/24 and change that to what I currently have, which is April 29. It's important to make sure that you write it exactly the way that you named the tab. So I named the tab down here April 29. There's a space in between, so I need to make sure when I write it, I write April 29, and I also make sure that there's a space in between. It has to match exactly. But once I do that, and there are 3 spots where I have to put it, then I just hit enter, and what it'll do is it'll pull my grade from that previous page and put it on here. Now, if I take this and I drag it down for all of my students, it will tell me what grade each student got, and then it will identify if anybody's missing or got an incomplete because their score wasn't high enough or anything like that. Okay, so I can very quickly see that. I also have the ability to sort. If I want to sort by everybody that's missing, for example, I can go up here and I can sort Z to A, let's say, and then it would put all the missing on the top. The one other thing that you can do with these scores if you want is you can color code them. So just like I did to color code the class period, I'm going to go to the lookup table, and the color code for the grading is the second column. I'm going to click on that column and I'm going to do Control-C just like we did before. I'm going to go to the master check-in. I'm going to go to that column, click on it. I'm going to right click, do Paste Special, and paste conditional formatting. The last thing that I want to do is I want to identify for the day how many people turned in the assignment or didn't turn in the assignment. So total turned in and total missing up here is what I'm going to do. Now, you can go to the lookup table again, and you can do the graded assignment, or if it's just a check-in assignment. There's 2 options for those. I'm going to click here and do Control-C for the graded assignment. I also, in the template, put it right here. So if you want to, you can do Control-C here for the graded assignment. I figured it would be nice just to put it nice and close. So you can do Control-C and then Control-V, and then put an equal there. And right now this says C6 to C8. So it starts on C6 because there's all this stuff up here. So the first row is 6, but your ending spot is going to depend upon how many students that you have. So I'm going to go to C11. So I'm going to change this 8 to an 11. One thing that you can do is on the lookup table, once you know how many this is, you can put that number in so that you don't have to change it every single time. And then when you hit enter, it will tell you how many are missing. And then to do how many turned it in, all I'm going to do is simply take my total number of students. I have 6 students here, and obviously this is easy, but if you have 100 and something students, it becomes more challenging. I'm just going to put equal my 6 students, my total number of students, minus whatever shows up here. And then it will automatically count that for me as students turn it in. So let's say more students turned it in and I drag this down here for the next couple of students. Then when I go to the master check-in, it will automatically change this from missing to a graded assignment. It will change the total missing, and it will change the total turned in up here as well. So it will do all of those things for you automatically once you have this set up. So that's basically it. If this seems like something that would work for you, by all means do it. I will put a link to this daily check-in template in the description of the video. Also, in addition to that, if you have any questions, you can email me and ask me, and I would be happy to help you out. This was brought to me by Boyd Weger and Peter Hausman at Chippewa, so I want to give credit to them. They're the ones that put this together. So if you have any questions, let me know. Stay safe, and I want you guys to know that I appreciate all that you're doing. You guys are amazing, and the work that you're doing for students, even in this difficult time, is incredible.